The final artistic touches are put on an East Side neighborhood mural today. KIMT News 3 Samantha Soto is showing us the last of 3 projects aimed at bringing art to life in Rochester.
And some sunshine today gave us a good boost and temps were able to soar, but with another round of breezy northwestern winds on the way, things will be dropping back down. I'll let you know how cool we'll get.
Plus, we'll take you to Mason City, where a 45th anniversary celebration was held for a business that's putting smiles on faces for decades. KIMT News 3 at 10 Saturday starts right now.
KIMT News 3, coverage you can count on. This is KIMT News 3 at 10 Saturday.
Good evening and happy Saturday. Thank you for joining us for KIMT News 3 at 10. I'm Jessica Bringy. Let's begin tonight by checking in with Storm Team 3 meteorologist Sarah Knox. And Sarah, we actually saw a pretty nice Saturday. Temperatures were a lot warmer than I had expected.
Yeah, that sunshine, once it came out, really helped boost these temperatures. And yeah, we did have a few clouds come our way, but it definitely didn't deter things. It was a comfortable Saturday. And now we're cooling off, as you'd expect, as the sun has set. But temperatures are still significantly warmer than where we were this time just yesterday. We're up 14 degrees in Rochester, currently sitting at 47, up 7 in Owatonna at 43. Mason City also entering the double digits alongside Charles City there, up 13, 48 in Charles City, 43 in Mason City, still a 10-degree difference. So yes, some significant boost when it came to our temperatures, and it's kind of slow to cool down here as we come into the evening. Satellite and radar here showing we do have about partly cloudy conditions around the area. And as I zoom things out, really all I'm kind of looking for here is to see if we have a little patch of moisture pop out from all these clouds, but it's looking like we're going to be staying quite dry here throughout the evening. Some of us more clear than others, and that's going to cool us down a little bit more. Ultimately, temperatures will be getting into the 30s, but like I said, things are going to be on the slower side until we ultimately slip into the overnight, see some of those clouds part ways a bit, and temperatures will get dropping a little cooler. So it's going to be a cool start to our Sunday. And also, these temperatures not planning to go as high as they did today, and I'll be going into detail about that a little bit later on. So Jess, it's all back to you.
All right, thank you, Sarah. We'll check back in with you in a bit. Olmsted County Sheriff Kevin Torgerson is calling on lawmakers to draw up a new bill making overdose reporting mandatory for hospitals. Torgerson says there were 30 overdose deaths in the first half of this year, and last year there were 47 deaths overall. His call to lawmakers comes as police have seized large quantities of fatal drugs like fentanyl. One of those drug busts happened right down the road from our Rochester station at Motel 6 in August. Opioid-related deaths have also been climbing in Olmsted County since 2000. The Minnesota Department of Health says there were no opioid overdose deaths in 2002 in comparison to 16 in 2020. Torgerson says the proposed law would make a change to HIPAA rules.
We fully respect HIPAA. I mean, we have all kinds of situations where we have to go through and go take the extra steps of potentially a search warrant or something like that to get a court order for the hospital to release certain information from people who have been injured, people who have been assaulted, people who have been in car crashes, and maybe it's a DUI, a drunk driving crash, and someone's been severely injured or killed. We have to go through those kind of steps, but we're already involved there. What's happening is people are going to the hospital. Overdoses are happening. People are dying of overdoses.
People who call in overdose cases are immune to prosecution, as are the victims. That's under the Good Samaritan law. A Rochester neighborhood is getting a new mural. It's the last of 3 projects aiming to bring art to the Med City. KIMT News 3 Samantha Soto gives us a look at the making of the mural.
From gardening to basketball courts to playing in the park, today people of the Med City are coming together to add a little bit more vibrancy here at Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Park.
Beautifying where you live and caring for where you live.
The mural represents all things people spend time doing at Dr. MLK Jr. Park. It's part of the Minnesota Arts Board grant, which provides financial support to artists and organizations throughout the state. The grant ensures all Minnesotans have the opportunity to participate in the arts. This is the third mural artist Cassandra Buck has created in Rochester neighborhoods, and with this project, she wants to bring art to places lacking creative inspiration.
You know, caring about your surroundings and, you know, coming together as a community and creating art together is really important.
Buck went to school in the area and says when she was growing up, there wasn't as much community interaction in her neighborhood.
It makes it such a more vibrant and happy place when we can have the arts, music, art, you know, all the creative things happening.
While this is the last project of the season, Buck hopes to apply for the grant again next year and continue to bring her creativity to the Med City. In Rochester, Samantha Soto, KIMT News 3.
How fun to see that art come to life. The other two murals can be found in Kutzke Park and Meadow Park. The total cost for all three murals is $6,000, funded through the Minnesota Clean Water and Land Legacy Amendment. We're now learning where next year's Minnesota pheasant hunting opener will take place. Ahead of today's 10th annual event in Worthington, Governor Tim Walz announced the 2023 opener will take place in Owatonna. Explore Minnesota, the state's tourism promotion office, coordinates each year with the governor's office, the Minnesota Department of Natural Resources, and the host committee to put on the event celebrating the kickoff of the pheasant hunting season. The 2023 Governor's Pheasant Hunting Opener in Owatonna is scheduled for October 13th through the 14th. Today, the governor harvested 2 roosters during the event in Worthington. This here is video from Walz's office of the weekend festivities. Today, community education invited the public to learn about the Right School, which stands for Reimagining Tomorrow's Environment. The Right School is a collaboration between Rochester Public Schools and Lowertown neighborhood residents, offering classes that focus on living sustainably. Community member Mary Idso has a low energy cost home and drives an electric vehicle. She says growing up on a farm, she's lived this way as long as she can remember.
We had garden things and we had chickens and we canned and did all those things. A lot of it stems from just trying to be as frugal as you can, because why would you not want your energy costs to be as low as they can be? So not only is it good for the environment, it's also good for our pocketbook.
My grandparents were the same way. If you have a sustainable skill, you can reach out to the community education about teaching your own class. To learn more about the program or enroll in a course, look for this story on KIMT.com. A pop culture landmark in North Iowa celebrated its 45th anniversary today. Oak Leaf Comics and Collectibles invited the public to its location on North Federal Avenue in Mason City from 10 to 6 today. Event goers were able to participate in sales, costume contests, inflatables for kids, and other special attractions. Oak Leaf's roots began in its owner's basement and has operated out of 5 locations in Mason City during its 45-year span. The business's latest move came in 2011 after the previous store on 5th Street was flooded. The 5th annual Rochester on Tap Festival, celebrating Midwestern breweries and craft beer makers, was held at the Mayo Civic Center today. Around 50 brewers came together to showcase 100 different kinds of beers, ciders, and seltzers. The event, hosted by Town Square Media, also featured a Halloween costume contest inspiring a variety of outfits, as you see right there. Town Square Media's director of content says he likes the variety of flavors craft beer offers.
Craft beer is fun because there's so many different options. There's a pumpkin spice pistachio cream ale that we're serving today. You can get really fun. You can get really creative and have a lot of fun with craft beer. And an event like this allows you to sample all of that and really discover what you like.
Town Square Media will host the wine tasting event Rochester Uncorked at the Mayo Civic Center in May of next year. Still to come, sweeping changes may be coming to the way chicken and turkey meat is processed, how the updated policies could prevent you from getting sick. And we'll take you to a local Halloween cookie decorating event, getting into the spooky spirit. Stay with us. A Mower County man is pleading guilty to selling methamphetamine. 38-year-old Cruz Torres of Austin has pleaded guilty to first-degree sale of drugs and is scheduled to be sentenced on January 12th of next year. The Mower County Sheriff's Office says Torres sold meth to a confidential informant in Austin on January 26th and February 7th. Court documents state both incidents involved more than 10 grams of meth. Torres was finally arrested after a traffic stop on July 14th. The Olmsted County Sheriff's Office says several people received calls from the county's non-emergency dispatch center on Friday. They want you to know they're not legitimate calls. We're told the caller states the person receiving the phone call has warrants and needs to pay immediately or will be arrested. The Sheriff's Office advises you not to give out any personal information and to not send any money. Coming up next, a cookie decorating event is serving up sweet but spooky treats. How you can get involved coming up.
Oh, it sounds delicious. And although temperatures have fallen into the 40s tonight, still a pretty nice night to get out there. The winds have calmed down, but they're going to be picking back up again tomorrow. And as they do, bringing some cooler temps. We'll be talking about it right after this.
Spooky. A Halloween cookie decorating class in Rochester took place at Nanagogo Toyberry today. Kids and their parents had the opportunity to decorate Halloween-themed cookies with icing and various other toppings, such as sprinkles, of course, like we see right there. The owner and founder thinks a class like this can help boost kids' self-confidence, fine motor skills, and creative instincts. She tells KIMT News 3 she's glad she can put together classes for the community to enjoy.
It's an incredible experience. I feel really satisfied and happy that I can help provide a space and build partnerships to be able to provide educational experiences and events to kids and parents.
The event was hosted in partnership with Rosemary and Lavender Bakery. If you want to get in on the decorating fun, Nana Go-Go Toyberry will have a pumpkin decorating event next Saturday. And KIMT Storm Team 3 meteorologist Sarah Knox and I were talking kind of during the break here a little bit about decorating our own cookies. And you said that you and your mom would do this mainly during Christmas, right?
Yep, yeah, and I think you said the same thing. It's kind of funny. We did the same traditions there as the sugar cookie decorating.
Yes.
But yours is a little different because it was more island themed.
Yeah, so typically we would go to Sanibel Island and we'd always have kind of like the pale blue icing and, you know, white icing to make it island themed, but still Christmassy. So I'm not sure about your decorating choices.
It was more Christmas themed. I mean, we'd have the trees and you'd have the green icing. We'd get green, red, and white icing, and of course the sprinkles and everything like that. And just it was a good time. I always liked the candy cane ones.
Same, yeah. I mean, you can't go wrong with any of them.
Absolutely
All right.
not.
So what do we have going on in our forecast today?
Sure.
Sarah?
So yeah, kind of a spooky forecast, especially if you're not a big fan when it comes to the cool temperatures. But hey, today was a great day, and thus I imagine a lot of you got out and about checking out some of the beautiful color that can still be seen across the area. You can see these beautiful things. We even had a rainbow. Now, of course, this wasn't this evening. This is a little bit earlier. Ramon, thank you so much for sending that in. Deb, some great color there. Allison caught some pictures, and I know it's kind of difficult to see on this graphic in particular, but Allison actually caught some of the first snow that did happen just yesterday in Rochester. So yeah, I do hope a lot of you got out, took advantage of the fact that a lot of us got into the 60s today. 60 degrees in Rochester, that was the high, as well as Preston. 63 in Austin and Mason City, add Forest City to the list. It was a nice day, especially considering the average temperatures in the upper 50s. Of course, the sun has set, temperatures have cooled down, but we're still significantly warmer than where we were just 24 hours ago. So we're at 47 degrees in Rochester, a 14-degree difference, a 10-degree difference in Mason City, currently at 43. Yes, these temperatures are going to continue dropping here as we come into the evening though. But a lot of it isn't necessarily due to the winds this time. That's some good news, but that is going to be changing here as we head into our Sunday. The winds have calmed down a bit. They were a bit on the breezier side today, but they're going to be picking back up once again as we head into our Sunday afternoon. You can see sustained speeds anywhere from 20 to 22 up to 25 miles per hour throughout tomorrow, coming in from the northwest. So there you go, bringing back in some cooler air. Satellite and radar here, keeping things partly cloudy for the most part this evening. There will be some areas a little on the clearer side, little cooling taking place there more so than the areas with more clouds. But as I zoom things out, really what I'm watching out for is any kind of spots of these greens that are floating on by. We're looking to stay generally dry here for the rest of the overnight hours. But yes, these temperatures are still set to drop on down, ultimately getting into the upper 30s here as we kick off our Sunday. And I mentioned those northwestern winds. Those are going to keep us cool for Sunday. So overnight low in the upper 30s, as mentioned, under those partly cloudy skies, keeping the northwestern winds, which will pick back up for our Sunday and bring in some cooler air. Let's see if we got any rain in the forecast though. Sky Tracker 3, as mentioned, keeping things on the partly cloudy to mostly clear side here throughout the overnight. Then the clouds begin to pour in as we head into our Sunday morning. It's going to be another cloudy day, maybe the sunshine poking through here or there as we head into the late morning and afternoon. You'll see a little bit of green here and there popping up, maybe a mixture. Most of our area looks to stay on the drier side. Kind of avoid a lot of that. And as we head later into our Sunday, this is around 3 p.m. You can see those winds coming in strong from the northwest. We'll finally get to see some sunshine right as it's about to set, but that's kind of a sign as we head into our Sunday night. We'll be sticking with mostly clear skies, which will allow for some maximum cooling to take place. And we've got a very chilly Monday on the way. You'll see that here on the 7-day forecast where the weekend is always in view. So tomorrow, temperatures limited, even more so when it comes to our Monday. I do want to point out the overnight low. This is where we'll be waking up early morning on Monday, temperatures falling below the 30-degree mark and not getting much higher. A high of only 35 despite the fact that we're going to be getting some more of that sunshine. And then as we head later on into the week, you'll notice trickling upwards, we'll be warming up, and by the time we get into the weekend here, back into the 60s. 64 degrees on Friday, 66 on Saturday. That's what I'm looking forward to.
All right, thank you, Sarah. The U.S. Department of Agriculture is proposing sweeping changes in the way chicken and turkey meat is processed. The changes are intended to reduce illnesses from food contamination. More than 1 million people are sickened each year by salmonella from chicken and turkey products. The USDA wants to do something about it by starting with the farmers that raise the birds. The agency is proposing testing birds before entering the slaughterhouse and enhancing monitoring at processing sites. A public hearing will be held on November 3rd to get input from the poultry industry and others. The IRS is reaching out to more than 9 million Americans who may be missing out on COVID-related tax benefits. Eligible taxpayers could receive 5-figure payments, including stimulus money, if they qualify. The Internal Revenue Service is focusing on families and individuals who haven't filed a tax return yet for 2021. Millions of low-income Americans in particular do not appear to be taking advantage of temporary tax provisions Congress approved during the pandemic. The IRS is reminding them they don't have to have big earnings to benefit, and they can still file even if they miss the April deadline. Starting this week, letters will be going out to remind taxpayers they need to take action before the November 17th deadline.
And coming up in sports, figure skaters from all over the Midwest came to Rochester to compete. We will hear from one of those skaters. Plus, soccer teams hit the field in section tournament action today, including the Pine Island Panthers and the Pine Islands and Roto-Mazeppa Wildcats and the Stewartville Tigers. I have those highlights for you next. Well, let's start on the ice. Hiawatha Land, which is a figure skating competition in Rochester, took place at the Rochester Rec Center yesterday and today. I went to check it out. This event is hosted by the Rochester Figure Skating Club. Figure skaters from all over the Midwest came here to compete in different events. I caught up with one Rochester figure skater, and she practices 6 days a week for about 1 to 2 hours, and she says it's worth it.
It's the endless possibilities. There's forever room to grow and there's forever room for improvements, which may scare away some people, but it only makes me work harder.
And congrats to all of those competitors. KIMT News 3 was a proud sponsor of this event. Well, let's switch to soccer. Teams are hitting the field in the section tournament. Starting on the girls' side, the Stewartville Tigers hosted the Pine Island Zumbrota Mazeppa Wildcats earlier today in a Section 2A semifinal match. The Tigers got on the board in the first few minutes, but that changed quickly. Wildcats meta shoots. It hits the top of the goal, and Olivia Cords is right where she needs to be. She finds the back of the net right there. The Wildcats tie it up almost 10 minutes into the game. Then a pass to Bryn Kelly right in front of the net, and that would be the difference. The Wildcats advance with a 2-1 win over the Tigers. And here's a look at some of the other girls' soccer games today. In Section 1A, the Winona Cotta Ramblers shut out the Dovriota Eagles 2-0. And in Section 2A semifinal game, the Lord Eagles hosted the Fairmont Cardinals, and the Eagles won big, getting the 6-1 win over the Cardinals. The La Crescent Hoka Lancers hit the field against the St. Charles Saints in a Section 1A semifinal game, and the Saints are advancing with the 2-0 win over the Lancers. And switching to boys soccer, in a Section 1A semifinal game tonight, the Lord Eagles hosted the St. Charles Lewiston Altura Cardinals. The Eagles started out hot, getting on the board first early in the game. Charlie Young kicks it, and Blake Muna is there. He finds the back of the net. Lord goes up 2-0, and Young in the corner again right here. A pass to Peyton Leslie, and he scores. The Eagles go on to win this one 4-1. And there's one other boys soccer section game today. In a Section 2A semifinal matchup, the Pine Island Zumbrota Mazeppa Wildcats hosted the Fairmont Cardinals. And the Wildcats are advancing after a 1-0 victory over those Cardinals. There were so many volleyball matches today. Here are just a few of those. The Mayo Spartans knocked off the Century Panthers 2-0. The Cats of Maynardville Comets beat Rosemount 2-1. In North Iowa, the Waukon Indians knocked off the Crestwood Cadets 2-0. The Waverly Shellrock Go Hawks beat the Charles City Comets 2-1. Jessica?
All right, thanks, Mary. We're taking a live look over Rochester on your Saturday evening. Sarah's got another check of the forecast. Stay with us. Before we wrap tonight, we want to say a big congratulations to our Daybreak team here at KIMT News 3. Tonight, our former Daybreak anchor and now evening anchor Tyler Yutzka and current morning reporter Alex Dieter and meteorologist Sean McAday were among those who took home an Emmy for their morning newscast and coverage of the historic tornadoes in our area last December. It's always exciting to see the work of our team getting recognized. Look at those big smiles there. Isn't that awesome?
That is so awesome. It is so much fun. Congratulations, guys. Well deserved, because wow, that was, I mean, I wasn't even in the state at the time, but I was still watching that. Crazy.
Some wild weather.